internet friends, my name is Lexi and welcome back to my channel. It's so nice to have you here. So today is going to be kind of like a casual sit down and chat. I've made myself a very large cup of coffee and I thought that we would talk a little bit about some goals. So I'm one of those really strange people who loves to set goals. I love writing things down in a notebook. I love the act of doing 3-month and 9-month and 12-month plans. I always have things that I am trying to improve upon in myself and in my life. I don't know, I think that they're really fun to talk about and also to listen to other people's goals. So reading goals and different goal videos are some of my very favorite ones to watch. So I thought that I would go ahead and try to make one myself this year. So I've got my little handy dandy goal book for the year. Every single year, I always like to dedicate a notebook just to my goals and to making different lists and ways that I can accomplish these goals. And so this is mine for the year. It's like this little pink bullet journal and I'm very excited about it. And today I'm only going to be talking about reading, booktube, and writing goals. So everything will be really relevant. It won't be like personal stuff or anything like that. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you what my Goodreads goal is this year. So last year I set my goal at 50 books, which is less than a book a week, but only by 2. I think if I was going to do like a book a week, it would be 52 books as my goal, and my goal is 50. And I decided to keep that again. Last year I also ended up surpassing that goal and going to 72 books. And I debated going back and forth between if I wanted to do 100 books for the 100 book challenge. However, I really want to focus on dedicated vlogs this year for books, and I want to read thicker books and not feel very guilty about reading a bigger book and then reading less throughout the month. So I just decided to keep it at 50, especially since I am in grad school full time. I feel like that's a good goal. Okay, my next goal is to use the library more. And that's something that I feel disappointed that I haven't really been making a priority, especially since my degree that I'm currently enrolled in right now for my master's is in library science. And because I was a librarian, I love the library, and I especially love the place where I used to work. I feel like that library is one of the best libraries ever. They have an amazing system where they can get tons and tons of different books throughout their circulation from other libraries as well. And I really want to use that way more. I love libraries so much. I feel like they are such magical, wonderful places, and I really want to make use of mine more than I have in the past. If you didn't know, that's actually a huge way that libraries receive funding from the government, is if they can prove that a lot of books are being circulated and that they are still very relevant to the community. And so checking out books saves you money. It helps you discover authors that you love that you might then want to purchase for your collection, but it also helps support your local library, and I really want to do that more this year. I would say the ratio that I am looking to do this year is 60% all of the books that I want to accumulate this year I want to come from the library, and then 40% I want to purchase. I do still want to purchase books. I'm not doing a no buy or anything like that, because for me, I really want to be an author someday. That is my biggest goal and dream. And I really like purchasing books because it directly helps authors, especially debut authors. The sales from a debut author can sometimes make or break a career. So I do still plan on purchasing books this year. I just want to scale back and use the library more. The next goal is I want to read more magical realism and surrealism. I really feel like my taste directly aligns with that speculative and touches of whimsy kind of style, more so than hard fantasy. I love fantasy. Harry Potter all day, every day. And I love Nevermore. I love A Pinch of Magic, but I personally feel like I almost connect to stories more when it is a mix between reality and magic. It feels more like the magic is tangible, like it could possibly happen to me. And when I daydream about things, I usually daydream about magical realism things happening around me. So I feel like I connect to that genre more, but I don't really pick up a ton of books in that genre. And I really want to make that a huge priority this year. So specifically with reading more magical realism and surrealism authors, I want to read Anna Marie McLemore and A.S. King. And I also want to read some adult authors who use this speculative narrative to kind of describe and to do their storytelling, like Murakami and like Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So I want to really tackle reading these authors, especially Gabriel Garcia Marquez, since he is a huge founder and pillar of the magical realism genre. That's a huge goal of mine. It's my favorite genre, but I tend to avoid a lot of backlist titles and focus more on new releases. And while I still want to focus on debut authors and supporting new releases, I also really want to make it a priority to read books that I know I'm really gonna love. Another goal for 2020 is I want to read more Kurt Vonnegut. So this is a very specific, but I actually want to work through all of Kurt Vonnegut's works this year. And the reason is because Slaughterhouse-Five really had a huge impact on my relationship with literature. I read that when I was, I think, 22 years old, and I was in a modern literature class for my senior year at university. And it really changed my perspective on good literature, on what I wanted out of a book. I remember seeing it on the list and really being bummed out by that specific book because it was kind of like supposed to be a weird sci-fi speculative story. I was not interested. I was not interested in reading about a person who was suffering from the war. I don't really like a lot of war stories. They make me very sad. And then you throw in their aliens and I was like, this is really just not for me. And I was completely floored by the depth of Kurt Vonnegut's writing. Also, highlight of my career was when I read the book in one night, came back to class, slapped it on the table and was like, I really like Van Gut. That's not how you pronounce Vonnegut's last name. It is not Van Gut. Oh God. Anyways, I really loved it. I really want to work my way through more of Kurt Vonnegut's works. I just don't think about it because, you know, I am really interested in reading what my friends are reading. I'm really interested in reading what everyone is talking about and where there's a lot of buzz because in my opinion, where there's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of passion. A lot of people are connecting to a story. I am not somebody who is going to say I'm not going to read hype books because I feel like a lot of the reasons books are so hyped is because people's passions for the literature that they're reading becomes infectious. And I love that energy. And I totally want to feed into that energy in 2020 as well. Read a lot of debuts, read a lot of books that my friends are really interested and excited about. But I also really want to read Kurt Vonnegut, even though no one is talking about him, just because his first book that I ever read from him meant so much to me. And I want to see if there's more that he has written that I'm going to connect with. This is kind of a fun one. My next one is I want to reread the entire Harry Potter series. I love Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter so much, but I want to reread it for a lot of reasons. The first is just that I love the series, and it's been years since I have read the entire series, like from first book to seventh book. I think I've only read the seventh book maybe twice, and I really am interested to see if my perspective has changed on some of these storytelling elements as an adult, or if I connect with it at the same time. I also feel like it's gonna feel really nostalgic to reread the series. It's one of my favorite series just ever, so I'm very excited about that. But also from a writer's perspective, I wanna see what J.K. Rowling did. I want to be a writer, and I want to be a writer specifically for YA and middle grade, and I feel like the Harry Potter series was done with such a mastery and such wonderful voice, and I want to see how she did it. So I'm going to be rereading that. The next one I want to do is to keep up with my reading journal. I have a reading journal. I kept a reading journal in 2019, but you probably won't see it because I did not complete it. I only did like 2 or 3 monthly spreads and then a bunch of random spreads. And anytime I would do any work in my reading journal, it was very therapeutic. It felt very relaxing and really, really fun. And it made me really, really excited for the books that I was reading. But then I just never really made it a priority to keep up with it. And so I think it'd be really fun to keep up with my reading journal this year. The next one is one that's on a lot of people's lists, and that is to get through my physical TBR and to get through a lot of my backlist titles. I don't anticipate getting through my entire TBR. Another thing that I really, really want to tackle in 2020 is really understanding my collection. I would like to regularly weed my collection for books that maybe I know I'm not going to get to, or books that I've read but didn't connect with and I don't really see the purpose of keeping them. But I want to go through my shelves and really develop a collection that I completely love in its entirety. I do want to keep some books that I didn't connect with just because I think they're important. Like, for example, I know that I have Thomas Pynchon's The Crying of Lot 49. I read that as a literature student at university, didn't connect to it, but I'm still going to keep it because it's important. But you know, books that I just really didn't love that made me really unhappy, I would probably like to weed and get rid of. Then I have a couple of channel goals. The first channel goal is I would like to post way more consistently, at least 1 video every single week, but I'm going to be aiming for 2. Again, I'm a full-time grad student and I really want to make quality videos, not just videos just to put up a video. So I don't know if I'm gonna hold myself as strict to 2 a week, but I am gonna try really, really hard to do 1 a week and hopefully 2 a week. I also really, really had a lot of fun with my ghost stories vlog where I read a secret TBR of ghost stories and then I explored a haunted hotel. I think that that is the video I'm most proud of that I've ever made, and I want to do more of that. But secret TBRs and videos that take about a month to prep for and read books for, it's hard and it takes a lot of time. So I want to make that my priority. So I definitely want to do more of those videos, even though it takes a long time. I just was really proud of that video and I want to do more of them. This is kind of related, but also not as related, and that is I want to be more active on my Bookstagram. I love Bookstagram. I'm on there every single day looking at pictures, looking at aesthetic shots of books. It inspires me. It makes me want to pick up literature. I love reading the captions. Bookstagrams can kind of almost feel like book blogs, and I love that so much, and I really want to make mine more aesthetic and more crafted, almost to feel like a book blog. And I want to be more active on like Instagram Live and different stories and things like that. So that's a huge goal, I think, for 2020 as well. And then I have a lot of writing goals. I won't get into all of them, but the #1 writing goal I have for 2020 is to write and finish 1 manuscript completely in 1 year. I really, really want to get serious about this. I want to create a writing routine. I want to do a whole series on kind of trying to write a book. So maybe an episode a month or so on how it's going and my struggles for becoming a writer and writing this manuscript and everything. But I want to make that a huge priority because that has been a goal of mine since I was a little girl, and I want that to happen. I want to actually write a story. So I have a ton more as far as writing is concerned, but I think that's the only one that I'm gonna share for right now. So those are my goals for 2020. I am super, super excited for them. Do you have any goals? What is your #1 reading and writing goal of 2020? Please let me know down in the comments. Also, do you have any book recommendations, knowing that I want to read more magical realism and speculative stories? If you do, please let me know down in the comments. I will add them to my Goodreads. Okay, you guys, that is it for right now. I will talk to you later. I love you so much, and until next time, book lovers, keep your head in the clouds and your heart in a book, and I will talk to you later. Bye!